Morning everybody. I was going to do this one at the beginning of tomorrow's Sunday Q&A, but I started to think about it. I think there's a lot to talk about. And it's the one thing that everybody wants to know more than anything else. And understandably, basically, should I go on the exchange? How much am I going to make? You know, because it's a fear. You're throwing in a job, you don't know, you're going in for it. So I'm going to tell you a story about a man I met yesterday. But before we come to it, I mean, just why have I done this on its own? This week, Barry Garlow. Presumably not the real name. He says, I'm a brickie and I'm sick of it. I'm thinking of giving the exchange a go. Watches the videos. Zayn Ali, thinking of joining. Any advice? It's quite a few videos, mate. You know, there's quite a bit there. But anyway, we'll come to that one. Engaris Asan, mate, I'm not just so sorry. I think it's Ansakusas. Engaris Ansakusas. My best if I probably got that wrong. Thinking of joining, but has his doubts. Well, it's understandable. I mean, I'm sure you watch the videos, and I think a lot of people will go, nah, he works for the exchange, nah, it's all nonsense, I don't know. Yeah, right, so I'm going to tell you a story. But the thing is, before we go on to it, it's been 2.5 years since I joined. So for me to turn around and go, yeah, join the Courier Exchange is great, it's different for me. I've been doing it for 2.5 years. I've built up some contacts. I've been on a long road and I'm getting there. I'm driving the lorry. We're launching lorries. It's kind of different. Yeah, it's all right for you to say, mate. And a lot's changed in the last 2.5 years. We've had the COVID thing. We've had the lockdown. A lot of people have joined the exchange. I think a lot of people have joined because they watch the videos, and I know a lot of people are not happy about it because it's increased competition. I never set off to get loads of people in. I just set off to do some videos about me and what I did on the exchange and maybe try and help some people. Yeah, so for me to turn around to you and go, and the thing that you'll always get from me as well, the Courier Exchange is not a magic wand. No one is going to knock on your door and say, here is a pile of money. You get out what you put in. And it doesn't work for everybody, but it worked for me, and it worked for Naheem and Braddy. So, yesterday, right? I had my best day ever yesterday. Admittedly, it's a bit of a skewed playing field because I'm now driving around in a 7.5 ton truck. But I picked up in Milton Keynes in the morning, took 9 pallets up to Birmingham, dropped them off, got decent money, job pinged up. Birmingham going into East London, got very good money for that. I was tipped about 2:30, and it was so easy. First lot went on, turned up, the guy was there, forked on, straight on, strapped on, away you go. Second one, exactly the same, forked on, forked off, no problems, off in no time at all. I did do a slight ricket, trying to drive the truck through the bit where they parked the cars, and he went the gates around the back, mate. I went, but anyway, so I dropped it all off, and then this geezer comes up to me. He's in a Sprinter behind me, and he's smiling at me, and I kind of had this a little bit before, like, you know. And he comes up and he says, you don't know me, but I know you. And I go, yeah, you think, well, okay, it's going to be the YouTube. Please don't hit me. And he turns around and he says, I joined because of you. And he says, mate, you changed my life. He said, he's working in the jewellery quarter. People in Birmingham might know it, I don't. It's jewellery quarter. And he's working in a pizza shop. And he says, I hated it, absolutely hated it. And then he said, a load of my mates turn around and they says, you want to get on this exchange thing? Get yourself a small van. Get on the exchange thing. He says, I started Googling the exchange on a YouTube thing. He says, I come across you. And he says, and you're saying, no, not a small van. Get yourself Luton with a tail lift. So he says, we call you Uncle Pete up there. Getting old, guys. And he says, so I took your advice. And he said, my sister's going, he said, I'm just running a little car. What are you doing? And he says, my dad's going, no, he's going to be safer in that van. His battery's higher up. So he said, I've got myself a Luton van. I've got myself a tail lift. He says, and I'm out there and I'm doing it and I'm being polite and I'm doing a good job. And he says, I'm driving around and I'm making money. He says, I've been all over the country. He says, where do you go? He says, I've been in Elgin. He said, you know where Elgin is? I thought Elgin was the Elgin Marbles. I thought it had something to do with like Greece or something. He says, he's up Scotland. He said, I'm loading. He said, my mate's banging on the bulkhead going, quick, get in here. There's another one we can collect from around the corner. Doesn't have to be dropped off around until tomorrow morning. It's only a small box. He said, I've been all over the country. He says, then I'm down. He said, I'm down in Brighton. He says, and a job pings up. He said, I've gone from Birmingham to Brighton Brighton to Birmingham, curtain side. He's gone, oh, how many times have we done that? Oh, because ADR. Oh, you could have had that. He says, I've got my van converted. He said, I spent £2,000. I've got the curtain. I said to him, he said, what, too dear? I went, sounds a bit dear to me. And he went, but they've done the curtain. He says they've moved the racking over. They've given him locking bits on the floor and all this. And I thought, and he says, I'm doing a good job. He said, a guy the other day, he rang me up and he said, because on the curtain side, he said, what you charge? He says, I'm charging like $135. And I went, yeah, you get that at the curtain side, you know. He said, he said, I've done a job the other day, gone into the firm. He said, as I left the firm has rung the shipper and gone, that driver you sent in, you've got to send him back in. He's the best we've ever had. He said, when he got off the other side, they didn't even say anything. He said, I'm using this firm now. They're ringing me up. He says, what's your price? What's your price, Naheem? And he says, well, it's $135 a mile. The guy says, I'm going to give you $140. They love him that much. And he told me the money he was taking. His best week, he wiped the floor with me. I've got to be honest with you. In fact, his best week in the Luton curtain side, he's still beating my best week in a truck. Although I haven't been running very long yet. But the long and the short of it is this. There is no greater feeling, sorry, I'm a bit soft, in the world than anybody coming up to you and going, you have changed my life for the better. So, I am a bit soft. Oh, Christ. It's early in the morning, I haven't woken up yet. So we come up and he shook my hand and he says, thank you. And you know what, I'm just sort of, it's my genuine pleasure, guys. I'm just really pleased that I was hoping I wouldn't have to do that. Yeah, that you're out there and that it worked for you. And like I say, it doesn't work for everybody. But if you're in a job that you don't like, my mate Nigel says you only get one ticket to the gun show. And it's a business. And business is about taking risks. You know, you start a business, you hold your nose and jump. And you just throw yourself out into the beyond and see what happens. But the one thing you can be sure of, if you're doing something you really don't like, and you carry on doing it, you're going to carry on not liking it. Whereas if you give it a bit, and like I say, it doesn't work for everybody. It worked for me. I mean, if you just play that back, that just sounds like a massive promotional video. So the other thing I will say to you guys is, don't take my word for it. Look at the comments. As M. Latif posted 20 hours ago, he said, you made me join, mate. You're a diamond. No, it's my genuine pleasure. And I hope to meet some of the guys. You know, if I ever meet you, I'll talk to you on the phone, I always said that. I shake your hand. But if it's one of the things, if all I can do at the end of it, and some Peter says, okay, what did you do? I can go, well, I think I helped a few people along the way, which is probably something which I think is good enough for me. So, in the meantime, Naheem and Braddy, Naheem, mate, well done, guys. It was a genuine pleasure. And finally, to Naheem's wife, sorry, love, because she says, my wife doesn't know what you look like, but she knows what you sound like. Because I lie in bed watching your videos, and she goes, for crying out loud, can you put that phone down? So, that's it. Should you join? I don't know. I'm a bit Mickey Mouse. But if you do join, I hope it works for you. I genuinely do. I hope it works for you. And it worked for him. It worked for my mate John in Belfast. He's now got 2 contracts. He's going all there and everywhere. And if you do join, I hope you take care and take money.